the screen flow. It takes, sorry about that, because it takes about a second for it to kick in. Once I start screen flow, the little green eyesight light will flash, and then it takes a couple seconds for it to kick in, so I gotta sit here a minute like a dumbass for it to start working, you know, so I apologize about that. I'll try to edit that out. So I have had several requests, hey, you don't do many videos anymore, and I'm sorry about that. They will pick back up, even if it's later in the winter. I've just had a lot of things going on right now as far as family, kids starting school, work, all that good stuff. But I've been requested to do a predictions video. And, you know, if you only keep up with me in my videos, you know, follow me on Twitter, Emeek77, EMEEK77. That will keep you up to date with me in between videos, okay? Because I'm always on Twitter every day, even if it's just a few minutes. So if you want to get in touch with me, send me a @ reply via Twitter or a direct message via Twitter, because I'm not on YouTube as much to check the mail there. So get a hold of me on Twitter if you can. If you send me a request via YouTube and I don't respond, get a hold of me on Twitter. Or you can send me an email, emeek77@gmail. But sometimes I get so much email, all the shit email, that sometimes I'll miss that too. So anyways, I've been getting requests about a prediction video for this upcoming event tomorrow, and prediction videos are just too hard. I mean, what they are is they're a shot in the dark. They're a gamble. And I'm not a big gambler. I have no idea what Apple plans on releasing tomorrow. If I did, I probably wouldn't tell. But, you know, I got some ideas. You know, I have some speculations. We know there's going to be a new iPod 4. Okay? Will it have the Retina display? I don't know. That's a hard call, because if the iPhone 4 and the iPod 4 have the same exact feature set, a lot of people might say, well, I'll just get me a cheap flip phone and buy me an iPod, okay? Which was probably in the long run fine with Apple, but I think they want to keep the iPhone at the top of the tier. I don't think they want the iPod being completely equal with the iPhone. So I'm not sure they'll give the iPod the Retina display, okay? Maybe they will. I'm not sure they'll give the iPod the HD recording. Maybe they will. I don't know if they'll give it a front-facing camera. Maybe they will. Will it have one camera or two cameras, okay? So, will it have the Retina display? Will it not have the Retina display? I'm not real sure, but I'm fairly convinced that one of these features will be left out of the iPod 4. Well, it's not necessarily the iPod 4. I shouldn't call it the iPod 4. It's like the iPod 5 or 6 or 7 now. Or the latest generation iPod, the new iPod Touch is what I'm talking about. I'm fairly certain a feature or two will be left out of the iPod, the new iPod, in order to keep the iPhone at the top of its game. If you want HD recording, you get an iPhone. You want the Retina display, get an iPhone. You know, so maybe the iPhone and the iPod will share the exact same features, and the only difference being a phone. Okay? But I just don't see them doing that, because they still want people to say, well, you know what I mean? They still want people to say, well, I want this and this, so maybe I'll go for the iPhone. I mean, ultimately, I don't think Apple cares if people buy an iPod or an iPhone, but they don't want to completely cannibalize their iPhone 4 sales with their iPod sales, because I want an iPhone 4. I want an iPhone 4, okay? But if the iPod, the new iPod, has all the same features, and the Retina display, and the two cameras, and the front-facing cameras, and FaceTime, if it has all the same features as the iPhone 4, and the only thing the iPhone 4 is going to give me is the calling ability, I'll just stick with my 3GS and buy a new iPod, okay? So there's going to have to be a reason to give people to buy this iPhone. That's what I'm thinking, you know. Because there's no need for me to upgrade if I can get an iPod 4 and it has HD recording and a Retina display and multitasking. There's absolutely no point for me, because I have a good phone, okay? So I think they're going to keep the incentive well enough and keep the feature set differentiated enough to where there is going to still be legitimate reasons to buy an iPhone 4 and a new iPod. So I do think we're going to get a revamped iPod. How many of the iPhone 4 features it's going to get, I couldn't say, but I guarantee you it's going to get 3/4 of them. I couldn't tell you if it's going to get 128 gigs of storage. I seriously doubt it. It might. It very possibly might. But it's just really hard for me to see the iPod eclipsing the iPhone 4 in any regard, whether it be storage or I'm talking about the iPod Touch. Now, the iPod Classic makes sense to have that kind of storage. But I just can't see the iPod Touch eclipsing the iPhone 4 in storage, because people need storage on iPhones more so than they need on an iPod, because the iPhone is not only acting as an iPod, it's acting as a phone. So you naturally would seem like you would need more storage on a phone device than you would a music device. So I don't see the iPod eclipsing the iPhone too much here, but maybe I could be wrong. Are we going to see some kind of Apple TV, iTV? I don't know. This is a music event. Does the iTV have anything to do with music? I guess they could shoehorn something in there easily somehow, because they could throw in the App Store, the iTunes Store. That could be music related, so they could put it in this event. I'm not saying they couldn't. But maybe they'll wait till January, which that's kind of stretching it. But maybe they'll have another small event in October, okay, that will announce this iTunes stuff once they get it all together, the rentals and the stuff like that. Because I think the iTV, even if they don't procure and put together a good streaming service for music and TV shows, even if they don't do that, the one thing they can do that will make this platform take hold is apps. And Apple has that by the hundreds of thousands. If they can somehow, I mean, these HD apps that are made for the iPad, they are at HD resolution. Well, technically, I guess, they're at a 720p resolution. Or what is it, 1024 by 720 is the iPad? Okay, so that resolution of an HD app, if they're made for the resolution of the iPad, I have a feeling that they're going to scale pretty nicely on a normal size TV, a 30, 40, 45-inch, 50-inch TV. I think these HD res games are for the iPad, that are made for the iPad, are going to scale almost perfectly on this iTV. So I think instead of having a third class of apps, maybe they'll just say any app that works on the iPad will work on your iTV. Okay, because they're already at an HD resolution. Okay, they're not 2560 by 1440 or anything, but they are at a resolution that could probably be scaled pretty decently. Okay, as long as the TV is not a 65, 70-inch TV or something, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Because the iTV just announcing, hey, we're going to rent TV shows for $1 a piece for 2 days. You give us $1, we'll give you the TV show for 2 days. Okay? You give us $10, we'll let you watch the whole season as they are put on the iTunes Store. But you don't own anything. You can watch it every week as it comes out, but you don't own it. You're just renting it. You have 2 days to watch it, and after that, it's gone. Okay? You know, I don't think that feature is quite enough to make iTV worth announcing. Okay? We can own our TV shows for $1 more. You pay $1 more and you own it. So streaming it for just $1 less isn't, to me, huge news. It's a great step in the right direction, and it's wonderful news. But it's not huge news, okay? Renting of TV shows for $1, or you can buy them for $2. I'd almost just as soon pay the extra buck and own them. But I'm not saying that this isn't exciting, because it shows us the direction in which iTunes and Apple are heading, okay? Are they going to have a new iLife? This is possible. There is a guitar picture on the poster or the promo for the new event tomorrow. So this could mean several things. We've seen Apple posters for promo events that absolutely had nothing to do with nothing, like the one for the iPhone event or whatever it was, with just a bunch of splattered colors. But sometimes they are relevant. And what I'm taking from a guitar, I automatically think GarageBand. They've put iMovie on the App Store. Maybe they're going to have a GarageBand version for iOS. Maybe that's a possibility. Maybe they're going to come out and say, we now have GarageBand for iOS, just like they did iMovie. Okay? Maybe we're going to see an iLife 10 or 2010 iLife. I do think we're going to get some kind of iLife or music application update or revamping of some kind. We are going to see the new iPods. Are we going to see a new iPod Nano or a new... possibly. That is definitely a possibility. I think if we do see a new iPod Nano, it will probably be a touchscreen. I don't know if it's going to be just like a shortened down iPod Touch. It might be completely different and stuff. I'm not sure how they're going to design it. But it's very possible that we'll also see a new iPod Nano. The Shuffle, the Classic, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even begin to tell you what their plans are with those. If they're going to keep doing them, if they're going to just keep them in the lineup for people that want them and not revamp them, or if they're going to get rid of them totally altogether, I don't know. But I still kind of see a place for the iPod Classic. Now, Apple could get on stage tomorrow and totally kill the Classic, okay? Totally kill it. But I see a bigger market and a bigger place for the Classic than I do the Shuffle. Okay, I like the Shuffle. I can understand how certain people could use it, and it would be a great little jogging MP3 player or whatever. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, I can do that with any of my iPods. The fact that it don't have any buttons on it and stuff, it really makes it a niche product. But now the iPod Classic, where it has this mass storage, is really necessary for a lot of people who not only work in the music industry, but work in the video industry and stuff. Will they still have a Classic? That depends on how much storage the iPod Touches get. If they can put 128 gigs of storage in a new iPod Touch, then really there's no point in having a Classic. But the Classic, I think, will remain around until the iPod Touch storage eclipses that of the Classic. Okay, you can't get 80 gig iPods right now, and until you can, I think there's always going to be a place for the Classic. So that's the wrap up. We'll probably see a new iPod Touch. We will see a new iPod Touch. We'll probably see a new Nano, maybe. We'll probably see some kind of GarageBand or iLife revamp. iTV, maybe. Maybe. That's very possible that they're going to announce 99-cent rentals and apps, but I don't see that happening this fast. I see that happening maybe in October or maybe early next year. It just seems to me that they could announce something, but maybe Apple wants to hold back until they got a better deal to present everybody. Like, okay, we got these apps we can run, and we got 99-cent rentals, but let's just hold off and finish dealing with our content creators here and put together a good deal, then we'll give it to the public. You know, Google is going for pay-per-view movies now, okay? And it's almost like Apple knew this was coming, because if you think back in the past, Eric Schmidt and Steve Jobs were caught at a coffee shop talking together, and one of the quotes was Steve Jobs saying, "It don't matter. They're going to see it all anyway." So maybe this is what he meant by that. Listen, they're going to see it all no matter what. You're going to be doing pay-per-view movies. We're going to be renting TV shows. We got Netflix streaming movies. We got Hulu now. They're going to see it all anyway. So what does it matter how they get it? Okay? The only thing we need to mutually agree on is how we're both going to keep getting rich in this. Okay? So I think the Apple event is going to be significant. I don't think it's going to be an iPad event or an original iPhone event. No way. But I do think it's going to be a significant event, more so than it was last year. That can probably be taken to the bank. And that's my thoughts on the subject. I hope this has given you an interesting insight into how I feel what's going to happen, what I feel is going to happen. But take what I'm telling you with a grain of salt, because all of it could come true or absolutely none of it. We just don't know. That's how Apple is, and we'll be at the edge of our seats until we find out. See you then, guys. I'll make a video about it when it's over. OS 10.